everyone. This is the last of the virtual tours of the parent park down in Herald Bight. We've been here before and decided to come back specifically just for some fishing for some whiting. We're already on the beach. We've driven up to the end to see how far it went up and back down. As you can see, the tide's all the way out. You can see just to the right there. I actually swing the car around so you can actually see what we're actually driving on now. Is basically sand, where the water was the previous day when we were fishing would have been about just below around knee height. So that's basically, there's nothing there. It is all sand. So it's crazy low tide that it would go out. I think there's a video coming up where I pan where we set up, which is roughly about here, and I pan the whole area, and you can see that there's no water for hundreds of meters until you hit the deeper section. So we end up parking up just short of there's some black rocks, reefy looking section, and there's a nice little sandy cove. I think this is about it here. Or is it after? Oh no, it's after these bushes. So it's just after the bushes, and then there's a nice area. But yeah, didn't check the tide times. Didn't realise that obviously in this area, not familiar with it, so a little bit different as far as what you're going to expect to see. Used to having at least something to fish off in different environments. You got some sort of water to cast into regardless of the tide, whether or not they're biting or not biting, regardless. You may have some luck, but here it's all gone. So another lesson learnt for when you're exploring somewhere new. Having some of this knowledge is helpful. So to check for the tide, because I think we get down here around about 11 o'clock in the morning. We had to wait, not that it was a bother, because we got to sit and relax and enjoy this view. You can see all that whole area is all clear. There's absolutely no water there whatsoever. And then this is the vision where you can see that's the tide after it's come in. So you can see how different it looks in comparison. That was all, there was no water there before, and my wife's now standing out there in just below knee depth. This was about where the high tide mark sat. It wasn't as high as it was the previous day, so it was a little bit lower, but this is where it sat pretty much the majority of the time. I'm actually filming right now. It's very, very difficult to see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but the whiting were actually jumping out of the water over in that direction where the camera's facing, but because it's so far away, it's extremely difficult to see. It's easier to see when you were there in person. Yeah, you can see that little splash and another splash, splashing. Yeah, that stuff. These are whiting. Yeah, they're quite, look at them all there. They're actually jumping out of the water. So there are some predator fish chasing the whiting. There you see one of the ones, the predator fish, swimming through there. I had to trim a lot of this down. We got lucky. I had this sitting in the water, not that far out from the beach actually, so I could record what was going on underneath. And I was actually quite surprised with how much marine life was actually under here that I wasn't able to see whilst we were fishing from the beach, even while I walked in, yeah, I could see tiny little bait fish around my feet, but I didn't see some of these bigger bait fish, and then some of the whiting that were moving through here as well. You just couldn't see them, so it's a fantastic viewpoint to be able to see, and you can see just up the back there, it's hardly visible, but that's one of the bigger, look like either a big tailor or a really big herring or something big, but I'm pretty sure it was a big tailor because he was around the back there chasing those whiting and the smaller bait fish around. So I did a fair bit of recording of some of these, just some of the fishes swimming around. I threw some burley out around near the camera area as well, just to encourage some of the fish to come in, see what sort of vision we'll get. And we see quite a few little variety, mainly whiting is in this area. You do get visions where you get swarms of the tiny bait fish that come in really close to the camera, then the medium size, so you get the white bait comes in, then you get the medium sized bait, and then you get the actual nice whiting coming through. You get quite large ones that we were hooking up the other day, the size of my shoe, so decent sized whiting. We're all swimming through this area. Unfortunately, most of the time they were getting, you can see now they're swarming that area, that little bait fish, that's where I've chucked down. You can see them all now. Threw some burley out there, and they're going a little bit spastic through that area, trying to nibble at all the stuff that was there. Yeah, so it's great to see this sort of vision, which you don't get to view. Yeah, so we can see quite a few marine life. So I've cut out a fair bit of chunks and tried to keep some of the different bits and capture some of the bigger fish that move through, and also some of the big schools as they come in. There you can see one of the big whiting that just swam through. So you see some of the smaller whiting, and then you see some of the big ones that come through, and they mix in with some of these. So it's quite cool to be able to see that. And then we get quite often we see. Now I might correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure, but it's a juvenile trevally that comes through. Juvenile golden trevally that comes through on the stage at ski. You can see that the fish will sometimes rush either out or in towards the camera way, and there were some predatory fish that were a bit further out that kept chasing them and causing a lot of these movements of the school, which didn't help our effect of trying to catch some of the whiting when they're running away, trying not to be eating themselves. But we did hook up still, and just not as many as I would have liked. And now you can see some of the tinier bait fish coming closer and nibbling at that sandy bits, and then mixed in with some of the bigger whiting. And then there's this clear section, and there you go. You can see 3 of those nice trevallies just moving through the back area there, looking for something good to eat. And then just went past the screen there. Nice big size whiting. Those were the ones that we were picking up, and it's great to see them come swimming straight past the camera. So really lucky to get some of the vision here. Really happy about that. And it's not something that you usually are able to see. You know, fishing mostly in the metro area and down Mandurah and so forth. Yeah, you're not going to see this sort of abundance of different marine life. And this is just one area where we were fishing. And to be able to see them in this sort of environments is special. I was hoping I was able to hook up and bring one past where I'd set the camera up, but just didn't happen that way. You'd either go the wrong direction or wasn't facing the right way, or just missed him. So that would have been cool, but I still think it's special to be able to see these moving around their natural habitat. So you can see them feeding like crazy at the moment down at the bottom. The little bait fish going for the burley that I threw out, and we get a few come through. Different ones come through shortly. I'm just waiting for them. But as I can see, yeah, there's some nice size whiting, and then there's little ones. Yeah, those little tiny ones, they're all just moving through. And that's the other thing. There's so much abundance of food that can make fishing a little tiny bit harder when they've got a lot of options. So that's why you got to work make it more desirable for them to go after what you're looking for. So you see the big ones up the back sometimes, way down that back section. They're a bit harder to see, but they're the larger ones, whereas the ones closer in are our small bait ones. But yeah, the ones out the back there, they're actually quite large in comparison. I could see them sometimes because I'm actually standing. Yeah, that one that just swam off was a decent one. I was actually standing. Oh, there we go. There's one that just moved through. That was nice. But there's the other trevally that just moved through again. Caught him. He just zips and he comes up back in that right hand corner there, and then he flips across the screen again. It's amazing that and there we go. Hang on, was a Chilenosed ray, and then out the back you can see the trevally again. He comes up close towards the camera and then zips off, and then followed by a few more fish following out that way. But it's amazing that I got so lucky to be able to capture so many of the variety, and the trevally come back, juvenile one come back through, and then back towards the back. It would have been great to hook up one of those. And now you can see the abundance of the schools of fish that are actually just moving through this water that you just weren't able to really see. Because like I mentioned, I was standing quite a few metres behind where I'd set the GoPro up so that hopefully I wouldn't disturb the fish moving around that area. Yeah, look at that nice, that's either a nice tailor or a herring. It was a bit hard to see, but nice big one moving through, so you can tell there's quite a lot of variety of fish that's possible to catch just in this area. It's not just whiting, there's lots of other ones that were there. And there you go, if you can see that, it's very hard to see. He's sitting there just in the left corner. He swam down from the front, he's sitting there now blended in, and then he just moves off to the left. Nice to see another fish. Wouldn't have noticed him until he moved right up until the camera. I actually did spot that until I was watching it slowly, and I saw him sneak up, and it was only when he moved that I spotted him, and he sat there for a moment and then disappeared again. It was really cool to see that as well. It was just a pity that they weren't as hungry and we couldn't hook some of the other fish up, but it's amazing that they're actually there. Like, there we go, there's that juvenile one. He flashed up again. He's up the back there. He swimming around patrolling that section. I really was hoping maybe lure that guy in for something, but wasn't having a bar of it. But some of the whiting got a bit curious and came up close to the camera at some stages. But I just thought this is some really nice vision of some underwater footage that you would don't often get to see. I doubt I'd put a camera like this in the beach down Perth, anywhere along. Oh, there goes another that nice big one zooming past again, and there we go. Is there a repeat? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I accidentally put that one in twice. Oh well. Oh well. I don't mind it. Was actually nice to see him twice. I thought I deleted that one. I didn't repeat it, but I must have left it in. It's not that I don't mind seeing him again, but yeah. Yeah, if you, it's not like you could put this down in the camera on a beach in Perth, or even some of the suburbs, and you would see this amount of fish in such consistent form. There were spats where it was quiet, but they were few and far between. There was a consistent movement of fish pretty much the entire time that we were there. And it was actually also helpful because it's in a sheltered bay. There's not a lot of crashing waves, so it's quite some nice whiting there. It's nice, as you can see. You can sort of see the ripple of the top of the water because it's not that deep either. When the tide came in, there's our nice juvenile trevally shoot through again. When the tide first came in, as soon as it first came in, he shoots in again and shoots off to the right. He keeps coming through. Yeah, he must like the camera. Better see yet, he likes the food that's hanging around down there. Yeah, as the tide came in, pretty much the rays were right on it. This is a massive school of fish that actually came flooding through at this stage. It's crazy. But yeah, the rays came in at the exact same sort of time that the tide was in. Yeah, there's another big. I'm not sure whether that's a big giant heron or a big giant. And I've repeated that one again, but it's great to be able to see him. If you missed him the first time, there he is again. Doubled up that same video, unfortunately, so I apologise for that. But hey, it's good to see it. Makes it look like there's more than there was, but let me tell you, there's heaps. But yeah, as the tide came in, those rays were right on the surface. There was barely up to your ankle, and we had rays through. There were quite a lot of them. I tried to get some vision of them from underwater, but didn't want to get too close to them and disturb them too much. Some would swim through nice and slowly. A lot of them were just sitting on the bottom of the sand, and they would cover themselves with the sand and then just sit there. And we're pretty much finishing up around about now. So I wanted to say thanks for tuning in for this and listening to me talk about fish, and hopefully enjoy watching the marine life just as much as I did. And if you ever check out this area, beautiful place to see, beautiful place to fish, and be mindful too of the tide and that sort of stuff. But yeah, great times, and enjoyed it immensely with you and the marine life. So thanks again, and I'll see you soon.